Hello, everyone, and welcome back to All Things Taylor, just in time for an NFL news update. I am your host, Taylor Hendrix, and this is your NFL Playoffs Divisional Round update. We're going to start off with Saturday, work our way through Sunday, what you can expect, some fun facts, and more to help you make a decision on who to root for as we head into the 2022 NFL Super Bowl. Should be pretty exciting, other than the soul-crushing news that the Patriots are officially out. In case you are not familiar with me or my channel, I am born and raised in Massachusetts, diehard Patriots fan, and once again, my soul is crushed. The Patriots are not in the playoffs. However, I will say that, this year was a very interesting year. We had a rookie quarterback. We had a real banner year up until a very untimely slump heading right before the playoffs and heading into the playoffs against one of our major rivals, the Buffalo Bills. So obviously, much to my chagrin, we are out. However, it did expose some gaps in our playing and where we can improve next year. So I think next year we're going to be even more formidable. I don't know if the same can be said for the Dallas Cowboys. So in the Steelers, I'm sorry for all of you fans out there. I feel your pain, but we're going to work through it and try to see what's going to happen for this year's Super Bowl. On Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to see the Tennessee Titans being hosted by the Cincinnati Bengals. Who saw that coming, right? Crazy. A 31-year curse is finally broken. It's awesome. I am not necessarily a Bengals fan, but I do have to give them a huge shout out and congratulations. We take football very seriously on this podcast. We have had Super Bowl champions come on. We have talked about so many different things, what happens when a player hits that rookie wall super hard, how to overcome that, what kind of attitude to have heading into the draft, how to prove to your team that you were in fact a good draft pick, how to learn from veterans on your team, what sort of pitfalls to avoid, what are common mistakes, what sort of thing can you do to keep motivated, what are some things that should be taught when getting into the NFL that aren't. So many different things go on when you become an NFL superstar on a team, and you are not just a player of one, but you are a player on a team. So much goes into this. So to say that we are passionate about football does not even begin to cover it. So huge shout out and congratulations to Bengals and all the Bengals fans out there as you guys advance in the playoffs. You are taking on the Tennessee Titans, and you guys have some pretty darn good steam. You guys are coming off of a very close win over the Las Vegas Raiders. That's still so weird to say. Growing up, it was always the Oakland Raiders, the badass black, white, silver jackets, those down jackets that everybody had. Nobody knows why. But anyway, you have a 26-19 win over the Raiders to advance yourself in the NFL playoffs, heading towards the Super Bowl. You're going to be taking on the Tennessee Titans. And what's really, really interesting about this is that the Cincinnati Bengals have not been in the playoffs for like 31 years. It's been a hot minute. This team, their time from the last time they made it to a Super Bowl is literally the age of a millennial. Just to put that into perspective, they have not been to the Super Bowl since 1981 and 1989. So I actually pulled up some very interesting fun facts just to put this into perspective for you. The last time the Bengals and the Bengals fans were able to see their team in a Super Bowl, gas was $1 a gallon to $1.70 a gallon, which sounds insane considering in certain parts of the United States it's like $5 a gallon. The top grossing movies of that time were Batman, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Lethal Weapon 2, and Rain Man. And the second most popular song played on the radio and bought on CD was in fact 18 and Life by Skid Row. So that just puts it into perspective how crazy jazzed and stoked and wicked excited Cincinnati Bengals and their fans are as they, are getting ready to take on the Titans tomorrow. Tennessee, they're going to have a very interesting job. They are the heavy favorite to win this. And so I feel as though I'm supposed to say that, the Cincinnati Bengals are unfortunately not going to win this matchup. But, the entertainer in me is secretly rooting for the Bengals to advance. However, if you were a gambler, I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but a lot of people are putting their money on the Tennessee Titans in this particular matchup. But, I don't know, just something in me wants to see the Bengals go pretty darn far in these matchups heading towards the 2022 Super Bowl. Moving right along, we are also going to have on Saturday the 49ers versus the Packers. The Packers are going to be hosting 49ers. And what's interesting is people are trying to put into perspective how this game is actually going to go. Now, obviously, the home advantage is going to go to the Packers. And what people are speculating on is what sort of role the weather is going to play for these two teams. Now, obviously, Green Bay is used to the cold, just like we are in New England. It ain't no big thing. But if you are an athlete and you have never played in the cold, you are in for a not so delightful treat, should I say. It is an entirely different game. You know, when you're moving around, it's not quite as bad, but you know, your organs are trying to keep your extremities warm and everything like that. And so when your body goes and sits down to rest, a body in rest stays in rest. There's a reason why they say that, right? Well, in the cold, everything, your muscles starting to tighten up, your joints start to tighten up. It's hard to stay loose. The more loose you are, the less chance you're going to get hurt, the easier and better you're going to play. Obviously, these are really high stake games. You guys want to get to the Super Bowl. You want to get that notch on your belt. You want to get that ring. You want to get that superstar status. So you got to stay loose. You got to stay ready. You know, there's so much going into this. So people are trying to gauge, you know, how exactly Jimmy G is going to perform for the 49ers. Now, I do have to give a subtle shout out to Jimmy G as a former backup quarterback for the Patriots under Tom Brady at that time. So a little part of me is always going to be like, oh, Jimmy G. You know, but he's a 49ers now. You know, he's a 49er. He's never played in weather under like 32, 35 degrees. And like, just for perspective, like snow, rain turns to snow under 35 degrees. Like, you know, 32, 33 degrees, your rain turns to snow, y'all. Just so you know. So that's going to be interesting. Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers on the flip side of this is no stranger to the cold weather. He is a veteran quarterback. He has been there, done that, seen it. He has the Packers themselves have 4 Super Bowls under their belt. The San Francisco 49ers actually have 5, which is very interesting. And you know, 2 of the teams that have the most appearances at the Super Bowl are not in, they're no longer in the playoffs, which is crazy. You got New England and the Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers both are tied with 6 Super Bowl appearances. So that's very, very interesting how, you know, that's come about. But if the 49ers can clinch a win over the Packers, they will officially make it to that much closer to 6 Super Bowl appearances, which would be very exciting because then they'll be in a 3-way tie. Whereas if the Packers win with Aaron Rodgers, they could get one step closer to being in their 5th Super Bowl, which would put them neck and neck with the 49ers. Overall, I think this is going to be very interesting. And I think that the defense for the Packers is going to make a big difference because the 49ers are definitely going to have a running game. But you see, Jimmy G, there's always a plan with the 49ers. You know, they never go into anything half-cocked. They always have a plan. They always have a vision in place. So I'm curious to see what kind of defense is going to be played with the Packers. And so for that reason, I'm going to take the Packers over the 49ers this year. Moving right along, you're going to have the Rams in Tampa Bay as they take on the Buccaneers. Bucks versus Rams. Now, Matthew Stafford is coming off of a good streak, a very, very good game. They got a lot of steam heading into this matchup against the Bucks and against Tom Brady. However, thinking long-term, bigger picture, I think the Rams are going to have a really killer season next year. This has been a huge comeback for Stafford. You know, I don't know. I just see really good things for the Rams next year, but I'm going to have to, much to my chagrin, I'm going to have to take Tom Brady and the Bucks. I'm always going to love Tom Brady. He did so much for New England. I know he wanted to stay in New England, but it just didn't work out that way, so he ended up on the Buccaneers. They're coming off of some really cool stats that I recently found out. Out of 20 playoff appearances, Tom Brady is 17-3. Out of 20 appearances. That is insane. So you kind of have to understand that no matter what, the Bucks with Tom Brady at the helm are going to be the heavy favorite to win this. And I'm not even mad about it. Like, I ain't even mad, bro. So this is going to be very interesting. They just totally blew out the Eagles to advance in the playoffs. So I'm definitely going to be taking the Bucks against the Rams. The Bucks will be meeting the Rams in Tampa Bay. Moving right along, on Sunday around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, you're going to see the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this one is going to be interesting. As you guys know, the Bills are such a huge thorn in the side of the Patriots, so I kind of, no offense, I want to see them go down. But the thing is I think that this is interesting. I think people are thinking that the heavy favorites are going to be the Bills against the Chiefs this year. But for me personally, I want to see Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady 2.0. I want to see that matchup in the Super Bowl. If I can't have the Patriots, then having the Bucs versus the Chiefs again is like the next best thing for me, honestly. But I will have to say that Josh Allen had he's been on the up since 2020. I think he's really starting to come into his own and really show people exactly what he can do with putting in the work and the time and the study and really starting to believe in himself and really gelling well with his team. Obviously, it worked out very well because they embarrassed the Patriots. That it just wasn't even funny. But I really do want to see, Chiefs versus Bucs 2.0. So people are actually saying that the wild card win here will be the Bills. I myself am actually going to take the Chiefs. So go Kansas City. So that is your latest NFL news update for your NFL divisional round in the playoffs. Let me guys know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Talk soon and enjoy some football over the weekend. Yay! Talk soon.